Good evening and welcome to Breaking News on NDTV. I am Ankit Tyagi. Ladies and gentlemen, students, teachers, parents, schools, all are bracing for big changes as far as our education system is concerned. And all this is courtesy the new curriculum framework, the NCF, which has been announced in accordance to the National Education Policy which came out in 2020. It was announced by the Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan on Wednesday. And this has, once again, though the aim is to reduce the burden on the students, opened a debate whether the new changes which are to be brought, are they going to be helpful in reducing stress, or are they only going to add the burden and anxiety as far as students are concerned? Let me very quickly take you through the big changes, in fact, for an explainer, and then we'll try and discuss the impact as far as the students are concerned. Very quickly, let's just go through some of the important changes which have been now, in fact, announced as far as the NCF is concerned. 2 compulsory Indian languages in class 9th and 10th. 1 compulsory Indian language in class 11th and 12th. Very significant, in fact, change is going to be board examinations twice a year in class 10th and 12th. Students can pick the best score from either of these board examinations which they will appear. So if you score better marks, let's say in the first one and not in your second attempt, or vice versa, you can choose to retain those marks when you go for your entrance examinations or further studies. Flexibility to choose subjects from across streams. Their idea is to try and lessen the divide which was there as far as the education system is concerned. So it won't be a stark divide between the economics, the humanities and the science. There could be mix and match of various subjects. Class 10th, 10 subjects including 3 languages would be taught. Class 10th, the external examination for 7 out of 10 subjects will also take place. 11th and 12th, 6 compulsory subjects including 2 languages. For class 11th and 12th, also external exams in all 6 subjects will be conducted. NCERT books now will be made compulsory as far as the CBSE affiliated schools are concerned. So as I said earlier, no hard separation between disciplines and academic areas. The new education guidelines, ladies and gentlemen, as I told you earlier, have come under in accordance to the new education policy, which was announced by the government in 2020, almost 30 years after the last policy was put in place. Now, curriculum is advisory. An important thing is that states are free to accept or reject the recommendations which have been made as far as this new education curriculum is concerned. Very quickly, to discuss this and go, in fact, in details as far as this entire examination system is concerned, let me go across and introduce my guest this evening. Vinda Swarup, former Education Secretary, Government of India, is joining us. We have Ruchika Sukhija. She is the principal of Mahavir Senior Model School, executive member of Forum of Public Schools and secretary of Indraprastha School, Sahodaya. We also, in fact, have Anubha Shrivastava Sahai. She is president of India-wide Parents Association. Ladies, thank you so much for taking the time out and welcome to the show. I want to start by asking, in fact, Ms. Swarup, how do you rate this, ma'am? The whole idea that I was reading as far as this entire policy is concerned is to move away from the traditional way of examination, give the freedom as far as students are concerned to take the examination as and when they want. Going further, also reduce the dependency on trying to memorize the entire curriculum in one go.
So let me answer your question in 2 major points. One is, I think now the NCF has introduced a choice for students where they can improve their marks. This is equally applicable to students who do well, who might be surprised by some particular papers and then choose to repeat them and get the best. There are also students who will have by and large, have a chance to improve their scores if they are not satisfied with what they are on a general basis. So I think this flexibility is good from the point of view of a student. And you must also remember that the changes have already been announced in the assessment patterns of the school boards, which is to test more of applicative learning, more of higher order reasoning, rather than rote, which is what you mentioned. So combined together, I think it's a happy moving forward for students. But the challenge in this, Ankit, will remain is how quickly and how well organized the boards are, the school boards, to be able to accept these changes and be enormously facilitative and very well organized so that both exams are on par.
Yes.
And this is particularly so, I think, for, CBSE perhaps with all its abilities has been able to do these changes, but and they have a smaller number. But the state boards is where these reforms will have the biggest challenge.
Right. Ruchika, if you could take that, the challenges of implementation as far as this entire scheme is concerned, conducting the board examination twice, changing the way we have so far seen a very hard boundary between the subjects that you used to choose and the curriculum, the way it was designed. How easy or difficult it is going to be for schools to quickly turn around and, adapt this new curriculum?
Good evening, everyone. I think it's not very quickly. We are already accustomed to it. We are already doing it. If you remember, 2 years back in the time of COVID also, we conducted 2 exams. So board exams were conducted 2 times. But now this comes with a difference because this is not a semester system any longer. So I think we will, with the support that CBSE provides, we will be able to make this change very quickly. Also because it's a win-win situation for both teachers as well as students alike, because students will be getting a second opportunity. So I don't see any kind of tension brewing. I don't see, in fact, I see a very positive educational scenario, very positive educational landscape here, a very progressive one too.
Okay. Anubha Shrivastava, but I remember when I was to sit for my board exams, it was a nerve-wracking time, not only for me but for my parents as well. Sitting and going through that entire process twice in a year. Do you think it will add extra pressure as far as students are concerned? Because we are seeing world over, there is an attempt to move away from the traditional examination evaluation system. Here we are asking our students to take examination twice.
Thank you for having me here. And see, this is a very important discussion and it's a very serious topic. And government should actually government should consult students, because I think many students are not happy, and even parents are not happy with this decision of examination in 2 sessions. Because see, as far as boards are concerned, 10th board students may accept, but as far as 12th board is concerned, most of the students prepare for entrance exam. Otherwise, they will have to take a drop and they will waste 1 year. So 11th and 12th is very crucial, and in 12th, most of the students in the first term, like till November, they prepare for their entrance exam, which are held right from December till May and June. So students are busy in the preparation of the entrance exam. If we are going to conduct the first term in the month of November or December, then when are the schools going to conduct pre-board exam, mock test and other internal assessment also? As far as practicals are concerned, when are they going to do it? There are a lot of challenges, and on ground, I don't think it will be very easy for the teachers and even schools to implement this policy. As far as CBSE schools are concerned, we are having very few students in our country.
May I ask you this? I mean, one of my colleagues, and we were discussing this before I came onto this show. She said that, the other way to look at it is that, this is going to be beneficial. In any case, students give pre-board, then there is, preparation for that pre-board. There is a mock pre-board as well. Then you go through the pre-board process. Then you go through the board. So there is pressure throughout the year in any case. Now, at least, you get 2 opportunities. Wherever you score better, you can use this as your mark sheet.
Also, please look at it as more opportunities that the students are getting. And
Right.
even the JEE exam is conducted thrice or twice. So it's not a pressure. It's more opportunities that the children are getting.
Mr. Srivastava, if you would like to take, because you were saying that a lot of students are and parents are against this. What do you have to say about the fact that, it gives you will anyway have to go through 2 or 3 examinations. Now you have the option of at least using one to better your score.
Right. See, we cannot compare board exams with JEE entrance exam. They are having multiple attempts. Not only JEE, even NEET, they are having a lot of attempts with students appear for attempts. They try and get into the colleges through these entrance exams. But board exam, there is a lot of pressure on students. And particularly now, because of the introduction of this CUET, students are preparing, they are focusing more on entrance exam, not on board exams. I know that now the criteria for getting admission into any college, as far as, except IITs, in other colleges, if you score 50% or even 60%, you will get admission. And now because of CUET and other entrance exams, several universities are conducting. My son is in first year now, and I have gone through this. Like my son was completely, and many students in his class, they were completely into entrance exam. They were taking classes because of entrance exam. They got selected in some of the institutions, premier institutions, but the board marks were not counted. So how are these this 2-term policies going to help students? Whether they are, even irrespective of 2 terms, if a student will score 60-70% marks, decent marks, they will get admission only through the entrance exam. More focus should be.
If you could respond to what the concerns that the parents are raising at this moment, and also, if I may add, the whole idea of the new NCF and the new policy is to move students towards more flexibility. But is this flexibility also, in a way, being more flexible, or does it add to, more confusion as far as the students are concerned? Which way do they go?
I think they'll settle down once they realize that this is an exam only, as you rightfully said, to improve your performance, to improve your scores. You don't have to take the second exam at all if you're satisfied with your score and so on. So I think this is it's a catch kind of a position where somebody who's wanting to strive better gets another opportunity. I think that's what it will become. And that is how it would be treated by students and schools alike. Now, on the issue that, there are entrance level exams, so nothing changes there, for good or for bad, whatever those competitive exams are, to get into an IIT or to do your medical course or to even today enter a liberal arts college, which is a central university. So these are things which are already in the system, rightly or wrongly, but children have adapted to that, and you just have to, negotiate the best. But I think where the challenge for higher education is in the flexibility which when you were enunciating the changes, is about the, breaking down of the silos of science, commerce, and humanities. And now, if that again is a flexibility which I think is pro-student. So students will have choice, and they can, have in my view, a more rounded education where they can take subjects from all whatever they choose. But then the higher education system has to adapt to it and allow for a free and fair entry into their areas of domains of education and graduate courses.
And in that context, Ms. Sukheja, when you counsel your students when they come here, and if this is implemented and the way it is supposed to be, to make the board examinations easier than the present high stakes, in one go, all in battle, and then of course the entrance examination, so on and so forth, will it make it easier? Because at this moment, till the time even your higher education system, there are a lot of changes happening there as well, both are not aligned, won't it add to the confusion?
No, it won't. I'll tell you 3 things very quickly. First, it is not a 2-semester system. It is that the students are writing the same exam twice. So as Brinda ma'am said earlier, we have to see that both the exams that are coming, they are also equitable. That is number 1. So these are not 2 semesters. Secondly, if you read NCF, they also talk about shifting from rote learning to to competencies. And that is what CUET is also testing. So in a way, we are aiding, we are helping out the students. If the students are writing the exams twice, it's also a preparation for what they are going to go and do ahead. Thirdly, as you said, that the pressure is going to increase either in class 10th or in class 12. Please, again, I would request everybody to look at NCF closely. It's 9th and 10th integrated. It's not that whatever has been taught in 9th is now forgotten. It is 9th and 10th both combined, and there are other subjects as well which students are scoring and which otherwise in the in the race of academics we used to leave behind other subjects.
Ma'am, but very quickly, may I just quickly ask you one question? If the examination will be conducted twice, won't it be a difficult task for the teachers and the students to to try and keep up with the curriculum so that they can take that examination twice? I mean, for both, they will have to be equitable in that sense, the examination. They can't have huge difference between one examination only covering certain aspect, the other covering the whole curriculum. How do we deal with that challenge?
NCF has also taken care of that. They have already said that all the paper setters will have to undergo one compulsory course. Even the evaluators will have to undergo one certified course, which is still not there. So this is a new recommendation made by NCF, which I think is going to create a benchmark, both in testing as well as evaluation.
Mr. Vasav, in the end, you heard, both the ladies. Are we, do we need to give it at least give it a try? Try and test it for some time before, in fact, we completely reject it with our apprehensions?
I agree to your viewpoint. See, what I feel is that the government should at least they're doing it for the first time. Last 2 years back also they have done this, and students have scored very less marks in first term, let me tell you. That's why CBSE changed the assessment pattern of 50-50 to 30-70. Why they have done it? Because in first term, students have scored very less marks because they prepare for entrance exam. So now, if government is going to implement this policy, let them give choice to students. They can opt either for 2 term or 1 term. It is their wish and their choice. Yeah, best of 2 is a very good option, which we have been also insisting and requesting the government that if you're coming up with a 2-term exam, 2-session exam, then best of either term should be implemented. That is a good thing, thing.
These are very important suggestions that have also come in, and I thank all three of you.
Another point,
very quickly, ma'am, I'm completely out of time.
Another point is that the language which they have imposed. Language, as students don't score well in languages, so government should not impose language, at least in board exam. That is the thing which many parents are concerned about.
That is, another aspect that we wanted to, in fact, expand further. I hope we will have more opportunity to do that. But at least at this moment, I'm completely out of time. I thank all three of you for, in fact, throwing light on this very, very important topic. Millions of children, their families, and of course, the schools and teachers are going to be impacted with this. Now, I want to move, ladies and gentlemen, to another important development that took place not in India, but outside, and it will have far-reaching consequences as well. Warlord, head of mercenary group, Wagner group, in fact, Yevgeny Prigozhin, who led a failed uprising against Russian President Vladimir Putin a couple of months ago, has died in a plane crash with 9 others, as per the Russian officials. Now, many questions are being raised as to what exactly happened. What is, if it's just, an air disaster, or was it an act of revenge? As the Russian President, Vladimir Putin, had very famously said once, he cannot forgive betrayal. Let me very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, give you a sense of what we know so far and what has happened as far as this entire mystery is concerned, and a little bit about who is Prigozhin. Now, it's a dramatic, at least something that, I must say that it was quite dramatic of what happened, a surprising development for many. In June, remember, this man who you are seeing on your screens, Prigozhin led his militia on a rapid march towards Moscow. A brazen attempted coup, a challenge to Vladimir Putin's regime, his iron-fisted, in fact, control over Russia. Prigozhin abruptly had at that moment, in fact, halted this entire march towards Kremlin, and then it was later learned that Kremlin had said that Prigozhin had accepted a deal, ladies and gentlemen, apparently which was brokered by Belarus, for him to spend his days in exile in Belarus. So now, what do we know so far? What has come to light? Let's very quickly take you through that. When it comes to this crash right now, the main source of information has come from Russian authorities and the state media. Remember, they don't have much of an, in fact, advantage, or at least they are not known for their transparency. They are known to be the mouthpieces as far as the Russian regime is concerned. But the Russian aviation officials have confirmed that the aircraft which crashed north of Moscow on Wednesday evening had Prigozhin on board along with 9 other people, including his deputy, who are now being claimed to have died in this plane crash. A lot of Wagner-linked telegram channels in Grey Zone has reported that the jet had been shot down by the Russian military, and hence the entire mystery around this. Although so far the Wagner allied telegram channels have not so far provided any evidence to support what they have been saying. Now, what did the report say? The report said the jet was functioning fine till just about 30 seconds before it met that fatal crash. Now, the reports also said that the plane just suddenly took a complete vertical plunge, resulting in that deadly crash, killing everybody on board. Now, by the way, ever since Prigozhin had ordered his troops to march towards Moscow in a day-long rebellion that not just Russia, but people across the globe held their breaths to see what is going to happen. Russian military leaders, against the Russian military in June, he was described by many Russian watchers as a dead man walking, because you can't, many said you can't ignore Prigozhin's rebellion that challenged Vladimir Putin's position, and Putin doesn't typically let his enemy stick around. That is known as far as the Russian president is concerned. Now, Prigozhin was a former convict. Let me tell you a little bit about him. And a hot dog salesman who turned a mercenary boss, was very close at one point of time to Vladimir Putin. He had a lot of admirers in the ranks of his Wagner mercenary army and beyond. His army was used in Africa, in very important military missions, in fact, Ukraine as well. But he wasn't exactly in Putin's inner circle, but he had the skills and the connection to be useful when he needed. So while all this was happening, many are not surprised, and this includes American President Joe Biden. Let's very quickly listen in to what Joe Biden, the President of the United States, said on this crash.
Asked about this by you. I said I'd be careful what I turn to what I wrote in. I don't know for a fact what happened, but I'm not surprised. There's not much that happens when Russia is Putin not behind, but I don't know enough to know the answer. I've been working out for the last hour and a half.
Even Elon Musk, the Twitter chief, he was not surprised. He said, you know, it just seems it has taken, he thought that it has taken too long for it to come to where it has. So he was not even surprised with what has happened. But the big questions remain, ladies and gentlemen. Was it a crash or a sabotage? Was the plane carrying Prigozhin shot down? Is it a stage drama to help Prigozhin disappear? And has Prigozhin shifted to Belarus after June mutiny? Why did he return? Are all those questions that many people are at this moment asking again and again. I very quickly, before I end, I just want to tell you a list of how many people have died in mysterious circumstances, suspected deaths, those who have been against Vladimir Putin. Pavel Antov, in December 2022, this Russian tycoon fell from a window from a hotel in India. He is a politician and millionaire, criticized Putin's war effort in Ukraine. Ravel Maganov in September 2022. He was openly critical of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Reports say he died by falling out of a window of a hospital in Moscow. Dan Rapoport, he died in August 2022, publicly condemned Russia's invasion of Ukraine, was discovered dead in front of his apartment in Washington, D.C. Mikhail Leshin, November 2015. Leshin was a Russian press minister who founded, in fact, the RT network. And he was also found dead in a hotel room in fact, Washington, D.C. Boris Nemtsov, 2015, former deputy prime minister under Boris Yeltsin, big critic of Putin, shot 4 times by people in his backyard, just meters away from Kremlin. Prigozhin joins this list of Putin critics now. That's all the time that I have in this edition of Breaking News. News and updates continue on NDTV. Stay tuned.